Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about factory design pattern, which is one of the most extensively used creational design pattern by Java APIs and frameworks like Spring. Also, what is a factory design pattern is one of the most frequently asked interview questions, especially for experienced candidates. So, let's get started. Imagine that you are creating an online learning management application. The first version of your app only have data structure codes. So the bulk of your code lives inside the data structure class, as shown in this code. Although for simplicity, here we have only one method, but in actual scenario, there could be n number of classes and methods coupled to this data structure class based on your requirement. After a while, your app becomes quite popular. Each day you receive lots of requests from the student community to incorporate codes for Python and Java into the app. That's great, right? But what about the code? At present, most of your code is coupled to the data structure class. Adding Java and Python into the app would require making changes to the entire code base. Moreover, if later on you decide to add another course to the app, you will probably need to make all of these changes again. As a result, you will end up with pretty huge and tightly coupled code. Here, factory design pattern comes into picture. According to GOF or Gangs of Four, this pattern defines an interface for creating an object, but let subclasses decide which class to instantiate. The factory method lets a class differ instantiation to subclasses. Let's break this to understand further. So the first part defines an interface for creating an object, but let subclasses decide which class to instantiate. Here what factory pattern suggests is we can have one superclass which can be an interface or an abstract class with multiple subclass implementation. So basically it's utilizing polymorphism in this pattern. Let me know in which scenario you have implemented factory pattern in the comment section below. Now let's have a look at the implementation part. We can have either one interface or an abstract class as for factory design pattern. So in our case, we have taken this interface called online course, which will be having one method called getDetails and return type will be string. And as per our first requirement, as our app will be providing data structure course only, so now we'll be having only one class data structure which will be implementing this interface called online course and will be providing or overriding the implementation of getDetails method. So with time, when you are getting much more requests to incorporate other courses like Java or Python, then you have to include more classes like Java or Python, which will also be implementing online course interface and give the implementation to the overridden method called getDetails as per the requirement. Now, we have to create the object for these subclasses to call the methods. Then, we will be having one class called factory main, where inside main method, using that interface online course, will be creating the object of those classes, whichever methods we want to call it. Suppose in this line, online course OC equals to new data source. Then OC.getDetails. So this will print this is DS course, as that is what mentioned in the getDetails method inside DS or data structure class. Okay, but if we change this object to Python, then it will print this is Python course. So we are providing the implementation here itself, which means in future if you want to change it from Python to Java, you have to change it again before compiling it. That means your client knows which classes you are currently working. As you are mentioning the class name Java, data structure or Python here itself. So in this scenario, the second part of the definition, the factory method lets a class defer instantiation to subclasses is useful. Here, what factory design pattern tells us is to replace the direct object creation with the special factory method. The factory method will still be using the new keyword, but this will be handled entirely within the factory class. Normally, factories are used to create product. So here, this factory class is creating the objects for us where object creation logic is hidden from the client. So the course factory or that factory class which I was talking about will be looking something like this. Here, see, if we are passing the particular course name as DS, then it will be creating the class, data structure classes object. If we are passing P, then it will be creating Python classes object. Similarly, if you are passing J, it will be creating Java classes object. Okay, and now we just have to call this class from our factory main method, where according to your input, whatever you are passing here through the command line parameter argument 0, it will be calling that classes get details method. First of all, it will be creating that classes object, then it will be calling that classes get details method, and accordingly it will be printing the data. Suppose you are passing J, then it will be printing this is a Java course. If you are passing P, it will be Python course. Accordingly, if you are passing DS, it will be this is a data structure course. So here, based on the input given at the runtime, we chose the exact implementing class. If you want to see how this pattern is actually implemented in Java, you can check some of the Java provided classes inside jar files, which will give you much broader understanding. Like all the wrapper classes, integer, boolean, etc. in Java uses this pattern only to evaluate the values using value of method. Also, we have getInstance method of calendar class which uses factory method design pattern. Also, along with this, we have class java.lang.classes new instance method, for name method, which are all some of the example where factory method design pattern has been used. So what are the advantages of factory design pattern? It makes the code loosely coupled, expandable, future ready, removes the actual class instantiation from client class, and all the things we have already covered in our scenario. And it also makes addition of a new implementation quite easy. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot. I will be catching up with you guys in my next video. Till then, keep learning with Proy.